The Dark Warrior is holding your uncle hostage in an abandoned cave. He will destroy him if he doesn't get the formula.
Oh, no. Don't worry, Trini. We'll save your Uncle Howard.
Prepare to teleport.
This rejuvenating blend with luxurious coconut. Trini!
Uncle Howard! Quick, we gotta find him!
Good work!
Yes!
Wonder what I did with that formula. Zordon, we freed Uncle Howard.
Good. Now hurry to the park and put an end to the Dark Warrior.
Now that my uncle is safe, let's put Dark Warrior's lights out. Yes!
Right. It's Morphin time.
Mastodon! Pterodactyl!
Triceratops!
Saber-tooth tiger!
Tyrannosaurus!
Well, clearly I wasn't ready for this, Jason. Hey everybody, Justin with the Millennial Mixtape here, and back with another episode of Best Theme Song Ever. This is the only corner of the internet where I can take something that you listen to for maybe 15 to 30 seconds and talk about it for 15 minutes. You're in for a treat. Now today is episode 12. We're going to be looking at the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now this is one of my favorites as a kid. Between this and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this was something that I had to watch, much to the chagrin of my parents. In fact, I still have some of the toys from when I was younger. This is actually my daughter's bodyguard. She has this in her room to keep her safe. She thinks Billy will keep her safe. But today we're going to be taking a look at the Power Rangers to see if it is the best theme song ever. What do you think? Do you think the Power Rangers holds up? Let me know in the comments. And with that, we'll be back right after this. Alright, so if this is your first time tuning into Best Theme Song Ever, let me tell you how it works. Every week I look at a different TV show theme song, I look at the history of the song as well as the premise or plot of the show based on what Wikipedia says, and from there I judge the show on 4 criteria. Those criteria are Earwormability, intentionality of lyrics, title sequence, and timeliness of the song, or how does the song line up with the soundscape of what was going on around it on radio, on charts, and things like that. If you want more information on how I grade these shows, please take a look at the rubric, which is linked right below the like button. And with that, let's get started with the plot of the show.
Back off, Fang Face! The good guys are here! Get off our planet!
Cause we're the Power Rangers! And we're not backing down! Yeah!
Dinosaur power!
The series takes place in the fictional town of Angel Grove, California. On an exploratory mission, 2 astronauts discover an extraterrestrial container, referred to as a dumpster as a result of its smell, and breach the unit, inadvertently releasing the evil alien sorceress Rita Repulsa from 10,000 years of confinement. Upon her release, she and her army of evil space aliens set their sights on conquering the nearest planet, Earth. The wise sage Zordon, who was responsible for capturing Rita and also being enemies of Zordon's homeworld, Eltar, later becomes aware of her release and orders his robotic assistant, Alpha 5, to select 5 teenagers with attitude to defend the Earth from Rita's attacks. The 5 teams chosen are Jason Lee Scott, Kimberly Hart, Zach Taylor, Trini Kwan, and Billy Cranston. Zordon gives them the ability to transform into a fighting force known as the Power Rangers, providing them with an arsenal of weapons as well as a colossal assault machines called Zords, which can combine into a giant humanoid machine known as the Megazord. So that was what Wikipedia says the premise of Power Rangers was. Just a third of it. We don't need to go any more in depth than that. But you probably know this. The show was adapted and uses adapted footage from Kyoryu Sentai Zayu Ranger, which was a Japanese henshin show. Henshin meaning transform. So they had the main characters, of course, transform into these powered beings with the Zords and all of that stuff. It uses the Japanese film style of tokusatsu. If you want more information on that, that was all provided from the Toys That Made Us on Netflix. Check it out. And some other fun information about the show. It was apparently a terrible place to work. So these young actors were working on a non-union show. They were paid peanuts. They were constantly harassed and being threatened with replacement. The actor that played Billy was verbally assaulted for being a homosexual. And it got so bad that the actors who played Trini, Jason, and Zach left in the middle of season 2. They just decided they weren't going to take the abuse anymore. So Ty Trang, Austin St. John, and Walter Emmanuel Jacobs just like, you know what, that's it, we're done. So, you know, childhood magic. It was a wonderful show, but awful for these actors. Just something to keep in mind, I guess. All right, so that's the premise of the show with a little bit extra. Let's talk about the history of the theme song. So the song was written by a man named Ron Wasserman, and Ron Wasserman was actually a co-composer for the show XMen, the cartoon show XMen. What may surprise you is the theme song for the Power Rangers was actually originally written to be included in the XMen. Wasserman said in an interview that the people above him were kind of giving him some problems, so he left the show and he took the song with him. It was never used in XMen, obviously. Let's see what that would sound like as the title for the XMen. I didn't like it. I don't like it. Don't like it. In about 2 hours, he sat down, had the song, had the lyrics, and presented it to SABAN for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and they're like, we love it. He actually even recorded the vocals, and when he presented it to him, they're like, no, this is great. He's like, who's gonna sing it? I said, you, my man, you got it. So the entire thing was composed, written, performed by Ron Wasserman, which is, you know, admirable. All right, now we're in our first criteria, earwormability. So there's just something about a chugging electric guitar that just doesn't work for me as a theme song anymore. When I was a 5-year-old, I was like, dude, this is amazing. Like, it tapped into all that little, you know, adolescent ADHD that I had and made me excited about the show, and I was ready to go. But I just, as an adult, I don't care for it. I don't like it. So I'm getting kind of the same feeling I had with TMNT. Now, I love to watch TMNT. I watched it countless times. I love the Power Rangers. I watched it countless times. But as an adult, you know, the entire series is on Netflix. Try and make it through like 3 intros and see if you're not just clawing your face off. It is not pleasant to listen to anymore. That's not a knock on Ron Wasserman. That's just, you know, evolving changes. Things change. Things happen. But as far as earwormability, to me, it doesn't do it. It's abrasive. It's aggressive. And it is easily wiped from my memory when I listen to something a little more peaceful, like, you know, Christopher Cross. Put on a little Sailing. It's gone. Sailing. So for earwormability, I'm going to have to give it a 1.5 out of 4. Okay, our next criteria is intentionality of lyrics. Where do we go with this? In the theme song that we hear for the show, it is literally just go, go, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. You mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's it. That's all of the lyrics that we have. It gives us no sense of the show other than these people have somewhere they need to be and they're running late. I just can't find anything in it that is compelling and makes me be like, oh yeah, like I get what these lyrics are about. I mean, it does the job, but you know, if we look at the full lyrics, which there is an entire song written around this, the full lyrics include the lines, they've got a power and a force that you've never seen before. They've got the ability to morph and to even up the score. Why don't we have that in there? Like, that would tell me exactly what the show's about. I mean, if we look at the title sequence, which we're getting to, yeah, you get a better sense of the show, but like, if we were just listening to the song, this would tell me the story. I would get it, I would understand. And it has helpful information, like they know the fate of the world is lying in their hands. They know to only use their weapons for defense. If they had included that originally in the theme song of the show, it might have kept all of these parents from boycotting it way back in the early 90s for violence. Like, oh no, they only use it for defense. No, they don't strike first, right? So maybe that's something we should have had at the beginning. So for intentionality of lyrics, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 4. All right, so here's our next criteria, title sequence.
These 2 are mine.
So the title sequence in conjunction with the theme song, gives us a great sense of the show. Plus, we have that wonderful exposition from Rita at the beginning. After 10,000 years, I'm free. And Zordon explaining, oh, we got to find 5 teenagers with attitude, which will get you in trouble, dude. Like, don't look for that on the internet. This is my warning to you. Don't search for that. Either you get results that you don't want, or you're going to knock on your door. Don't do it. So we have the exposition and the fight sequences and the scenes that are included in the beginning, along with the Go-Go Power Rangers, you Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Now we get a strong sense of what the show's about. We get a better understanding that we're in for people in colorful spandex, jumping around and kicking things. What more could you want? Like, really? So for title sequence, I'm gonna bump this thing up. I'm gonna give him a 3.5 out of 4. It's pretty solid. And our final criteria is timeliness of the song.
This is weird. It's almost like they're after something. Yeah!
We are!
All right, so Mighty Morphin Power Rangers premiered on August 28th, 1993. The #1 song at this time, tell me if you've heard this before, was Can't Help Falling in Love by UB40. They were also #1 in September 10th, 1993 when the X-Files premiered, which is another episode of Best Theme Song Ever that I've done. Now, in that video, I mentioned that appropriation of Caribbean culture in music, where you have British white dudes singing, doesn't have the best optics. That's not really a good look for 2020. We have that problem still. That's still an issue because, again, this was just a couple weeks before the X-Files premiered. But while we're talking about things that are culturally insensitive, let's go ahead and mention the fact that the Asian American woman is playing the Yellow Ranger and the African American man is playing the Black Ranger. We're still trying to understand who let that by. I was like, this is solid. This isn't going to give us any problems at all, like for real. But I won't do that conversation any justice. Really, you need to look at the Key and Peele skit where they have the green/Black Ranger and all of the things that happens around that. I will link that video below in the description. You should watch it. It is hilarious. So as far as the timeliness of the song, Go-Go Power Rangers doesn't really fit in with what's going on there, but really we shouldn't have let UB40 on the charts for as long as they were. So I can't knock them for that. Now it does sound early 90s rock, like it would have been, you know, if this was on a Guns N' Roses album, I don't think we really could have told the difference. Honestly, I don't think we could have. So for timeliness, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be fair, I'm going to give them a 2.5 out of 4 for timeliness, which is not bad. All right, so when we look at our final score, we have a 2, a 3.5, a 1.5, and a 2.5. We add that together, average it out, that gives us a final score of 59.3, which is an F. Power Rangers does not do well there, but you know what? They're here to save the world, and we need to give them a chance. And they're still flipping on TV. I talked about how long the Ninja Turtles were on TV. I mean, the different iterations. The Power Rangers are still on. And something that is really interesting, this theme song was only moderately alterated for the first like 18 seasons of the show. So for the first 18 seasons, it's basically the same song. And you know, you want to know how they changed it? They put in the names of the characters. That was like the big change. So it's lasting. That's not one of our criteria, but it is a lasting theme song. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of Best Theme Song Ever. This was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with a score of 59F. Can your show do better? Let me know in the comments what show you'd like me to do next. These drop every Monday, so if you want more, be sure to like the video and subscribe so you're notified of every new Best Theme Song Ever each week. With that, I'm going to leave. Over here, it's going to be a video that you should check out when you get a second. And I'm inspired to go take up Taekwondo again. I think, you know, that's what I did. I need to see if I can find my white belt somewhere. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.